Hi everyone. I want to demonstrate how to use Udacity Cloud Lab to achieve Project 3. So the first thing you would have downloaded the Project Starter resource from here. Once you download the Project Starter resource from here, you would have logged into your Udacity Cloud Lab to access your details, where you'll be having your Azure credentials and your service principal details. So I'm going to use this to log into my Azure portal. I'll take the username and the password. So I'll go to portal.azure.com. I'm going to click, I'll use another account. I'll say username, then password. I'll take the password as well. So from this account, the only thing that is created for us is the Azure DevOps is an Azure DevOps resource group, and we have a log analytic inside of it. So everything I'll be deploying will be coming inside of this place. So I'll just I'll open the Udacity Cloud Lab. Then I'd already extracted it here. So I'll just open this here. I'll say git batch here. I'll open it in VS Code, and I'm going to say code dot to open this. Once I open it, just so once I open this, the first thing I need to do is to configure my config.sh, where I'm going to have this deployed to a resource group. And so the first thing, I need to log into the terminal to Azure portal using az login. Okay. So I'll just take the credentials I have here, the username, sign in, next, then the password. Okay. So that is going to generate these credentials for me, the tenant ID, the subscription ID. So the next thing is to cd into this Terraform directory, cd Terraform, then run this batch script so that it's going to deploy the container and the storage account. So I'll say batch config.sh. This is going to give me some outputs. So I have the storage account name, the container name, and the access key. I'll just create an azsecret.config and put all this information there. So I have this one for my previous deployments. I'll just erase it and then run, add this. I'll take this storage account name, put it here, the TF state and the access key. I'll save this. Then the next thing is to get information for my subscription. That's from the Azure Cloud Shell Lab. I'll save this. So to get the credentials, I'll come to this place. I'll click on service principal details. The what I need to first get is the subscription ID from here, sub ID. The I need to get the client ID. It's the same thing as the application ID. Then I need to get the client secrets. Client secrets. Then I need to get the tenant ID. So I'll save this. So I need to put this information to in my terraform.tf variable where I need then I'll need to configure my Terraform folder as well, where I've added all the information that I need. And I need to take note of the resource group location. So this is in Central US. So my resource group location is Central US, and to put the location South Central US. Then I would have added all this module as well that is going to use to is going to deploy app service, network security group, public IP address, a resource group, and a VM. Then this as well. So I'll save this. Once I save it, and the next thing is to push this code to Git, I'll add another, and I'll say Git batch. But before that, I need to create a new repo. I'll go to my repo and I'll say new repo. Then I'll call it project3 underscore Udacity Cloud Lab, and I'll say create. So once I'm done, I need to push this to Git. I'll say git init git add all. So git commit. Okay, git commit. Git. I'll change the branch. Then I'll add the remote origin. Then I'll push. Okay, this has successfully pushed. Let me just refresh it. Yeah, I have it here already. So the next thing to do is go to my Azure DevOps environment. I need to confirm that the storage account has been created. It is here, and the container is already created too. So I need to go to my Azure DevOps organization. And then I'll say, also before I move to my Azure DevOps organization, I need to create a virtual machine that my agent is going to use as the pool. So I'll come to virtual machine. I'll say create virtual machine. Then I'm going to select the existing resource group. I'll call it my Linux VM. Then the location is still the same. This is the same. Then instead of selecting SSH, I'll say password. Then I'm going to say DevOps agents. Then the password would be DevOps agents at 123. Same thing here. Then I'm going to allow SSH. Then I'm going to review and create. So this has passed validation. I'll just click on create. While this is creating, I'll go to another blade and I'll say Azure DevOps organization, and I'll click on my DevOps organization. Then I'll sign in with the same account. So I'll come here, I'll get the credentials, I'll say username, then I'll come to get the password. I'll sign in. I'll stay signed in. Okay, so this has finished deploying. Go to resource. So because this has finished deploying, I need to log into this VM. To log into the VM, I'll click on SSH. Then I'll just come here and copy this, and I'll go back to my VS Code and open another terminal. I'll say SSH, the username and the IP address. This is going to request some information. I'll say yes, and then I'll input the password. So yeah, this is what I'm going to use as my agent. So I'll go back to DevOps organization. Okay, let me just close this. Then I'll say continue. I'll create. I'll say continue. I'll put it forces L D. Okay, forces L D D 3K. Continue. So it's going to ask for the project name. I'll just call it Udacity Lab underscore project 3. I'll say create. So once I'm done, the first thing I need to do since that I'm in the Azure DevOps organization is to create a personal access token. To create a personal access token, you're going to come to here, this icon. You click on personal access token. You click on new tokens, and then I'll give it my personal access token. Then I'll click on full access and create. So I need to get this and save somewhere. I'll just get it and save it here because I'm going to need this later. After I've created a personal access token, I'll create a service connection. So to create a service connection, I'll go to my project settings. I'll come under pipeline, then I'm going to see service connections. I'm going to say create service connection, Azure Resource Manager, next. Then this is going to be manual instead of automatic. I'll see. So I'll get the informations from here. So I need a subscription ID, subscription name, service principal ID, which is same thing as application ID. Then the secrets. Then the tenant ID. I'll click on verify. Verification succeeded. Then the service connection name. I'll just use the service connection name that I've been using before, and it's Azure service connection Azure RM. Then I'll say verify and save. Once I'm done with that, I need to create an agent pool. So that will be under pipeline too. Under pipe Azure under pipeline. I'll come to agent pools. I'll say add pools. Then I'll say self-hosted, and then I'm going to give it a name, my agents pool, and I'll say create. So once I'm this, I'll just open this and I'll say new agent. So I'll click on Linux because the agent I want to use is Linux. The first thing I need to do is to download, then make a directory, and then run this. Then to start it, I'll run this. I'll just go back to the Linux virtual machine and I'll download the zip file. I'll download the zip file. See, press enter. Okay, I think download. Okay, done here. Okay, finish downloading. So I'll make directory. and cd into the directory, then unzip this. Once I'm done, I'll run this .config.sh. So this is going to ask, I'll say yes, why, then it will request for the URL. I can get the URL from here. I'll restart this, click on this, and then get this URL. Then I'll put the URL here and press enter. It's going to ask if I want to use the personal access to say yes. I'll press enter. Then I'll go and get the token. I'll just copy the token. I'll put it here, enter. It's going to ask for my agent's name. I'll say my agent's pool, the one I created. Press enter. It's going to ask if it's my Linux. You just say enter, and then I'll say enter, and this has created. Then the next thing is for me to install sudo this. Okay, this is running. Run as usual DevOps agent. Then I'll just start this. Okay, so this is running, and let me go and confirm that as well. I'll close this, and then my Linux VM is running. The next thing is to create a test environment. That will be under pipeline. I'll click on environment. I'll create environment, then I'll call it test. So it's going to be a virtual machine, and I'll say next. So I'll get this. I'm using a Linux as my, so I'll use same Linux VM as mine. But before that, I need to use log into another SSH. Okay, I'll say add SSH. Then I'll get the username and the address from the port. Then I'll say SSH. Done this. I'll say enter. Then I'll put the password. So I'll get this code from the environment for Linux. Remember to select Linux. Then I'll click on this and install this environment. I'll press enter. So I don't need a tag. I'll just press enter. So this is going to be running as well. So if I go back and refresh, I should have an environment called my, in an environment I should have a resource as my Linux VM. So once that is done, I need to install Terraform from Marketplace. To do that, I'll come here. I'll say browse Marketplace. Then I'll say Terraform. I'll press enter. Then I need to install this particular one. Then I'll say get it free. So I'll say install. I'll go back to the organization. To confirm that that is installed, you come here, you say manage extensions. This is what I just installed. So the next thing is to upload the secure files and the SSH secrets. So to do that, I'll come to my project. I'll come to pipelines library. So I'll add the variable first. Then this variable, I'll call it AZ secrets. Then I'm going to click on add. I'll get all the informations from here, from my usersecret.config, where I have my subscription ID, my client ID, my client secret, then my tenant ID, then I need to add my access key. I'll click on save. Once I'm done, I need to upload some secure files that, like, I need to install this. I need to upload this. First, this is a secret.config. So I'll say browse. I'll go to my desktop where I have it. I have Udacity, Final Demo, this, and then is it? Yeah, I'll say open, and I'll say okay. Then I need to upload my SSH keys as well. So I'll come here, users, shakirat.ssh. I'll upload the three of these. So I have my SSH key, everything is. So I'll just save this. It's okay, it's already saved. Then I have my variable group. Everything is already saved. Now the next thing to do is to install some things on my VM so that I don't run into error. So I'll open my VM I'll say it's already open, but I prefer to open it a fresh one. Then I'll copy the username and the IP address again. I'll say SSH. I'll put this, enter, and I'm going to put the password. Okay, so I need to install the zip. It's zip first. Install zip. Once I'm done, I'll install CLI. Okay, that is done. I'll install CLI. Then once that finishes, I'll install npm. Okay, so the last thing is to install npm. I'll say yes. Once this finishes, then I'll go to my pipeline. I'll go and create a new pipeline. So I'll go to pipelines. I'll because I don't have any pipeline. I need to create a new pipeline. Okay, so this has finished. So I've installed zip, I've installed Azure CLI, and I've installed npm on the VM. So now I'll go to the pipeline. Remember that I've added environment. I've added environments which is called test. I've added variables. I add a variable group and I upload some secure files then, and I'm going to create a pipeline now. So to do that, I'll just say create pipelines, and I'll click on this git github. So once I click on that, I'll select the last repo that I just deployed, project 3 Elastical Lab. Once I do that, I'll click on existing Azure pipeline, and I'll click on this. I'll say continue. So yeah, there's this um YAML file that is provisioned for us before. I'll just take everything out and then put a new one. So that is going to include a provision stage that will just deploy my Terraform files. Okay, let's say okay, and then I'll put it here. So I need to change some things. Also, I need to add my variable. So this variable, my I'm going to upload my SSH key. So I'll seed into where I have the SSH key, and I'm going to check the SSH, and I'll say cat az underscore eqr sorry eqr underscore id underscore rc dot p ub. That's the public key. So I'll just copy, and I'll add a variable. I'll call it public underscore key. Then I'll add the value here, and I'll say okay, then save. So for this, remember I deploy an agent that is my agent pool, and I've uploaded a secret azure secret.config. Then this public key, that is what I just added here. Then I need to do some change to mine. So this is going to deploy to my Azure DevOps. It's going to use my Azure DevOps resource group, and that is for the backend side. I need to get the storage account name. The storage account name from here. I'll just say copy, and I'll put it here. Then it will validate, it will plan, it will apply, and then so what I'll do here, I'll say save, and I'll save and run. So this is cute. It needs some permission. I'll say view permission, permits, permits. I'll permit this as well. And this is going to run using my own agents pool. Okay, there's an error here that needs to be fixed. It says this with module app service dot test um needs to be globally unique, isn't available. So I need to change this. Okay, I'll just change that. So here is a successful deployment. What happened that time that the error showed was that I deployed a P3 demo resource before and asked the application with the same name, the app service with the same name, but I did not delete it. So what I did is that I went to delete it and I redeployed. So now I'll go back to the portal to check the successful deployment. So yeah, I'll go to I'll go to the resource group again, then I'll refresh it. So I would have this the Linux machine that I created by default, and I have so many the modules that I created. So where I'm going to put most concentration now is my app service, where I'm going to get the URL and deploy the resource, the fake REST API. So I'll copy this and then check. So it should give me a default. Okay, this is going to give me a default URL. That means we are successfully able to deploy the default app service. So the next thing I is to go to my pipeline and edit the pipeline. So I'm going to add some codes. So this is going to the code is going to deploy the fake REST API. So I'll just copy the code. Then it's going to be build. Then I'll say edit pipeline. Under edit pipeline, I'll come down, then enter Control Z, enter. Then I'll paste it here. So yeah, this is going to, after the Terraform task has completed, I have another stage which is the build stage. This is going to archive the fake REST API, to archive the Selenium folder, it will archive the JMeter folder as well. So, and now this is going to deploy the fake REST API. The name of my web app, remember, is Project3demo app service, which is here. I copied it from here. So this will just deploy this with the same, and I need to confirm that my web app is in this folder, the directory, that is the fake REST API, automated testing, JMeter, fake REST API. I'll go back to my I need to refresh this. Project 3, this is the one I'm working with. Automated testing, JMeter, fake REST API is there. So that I will not encounter any error. I'll just, then after that has completed, it's going to deploy this using the test environment and deploy a VM as well. So I'll save this and then I'll run. This might take a couple of minutes because it's three stages. There's a provision stage, a build stage, and a deploy stage. Once this has finished deploying, I'll take the URL and use it for the JMeter testing. Let me open the JMeter app while that is opening. So let me use, I'll go to where I download the JMeter, my C drive, under user Apache, JMeter bin, then JMeter. This is the one I'm going to open. I need to get like finished deploying so that I'll run the JMeter test. But while that is going, I'll just pause this video while that is running. This has not started. Let me just let it start so that I can pause the video. I want to allow the agent to start. So this is queued on current position is one. Once it starts, I'll pause the video. So one is okay, waiting for the agent to receive and acknowledge the request. So this has started. Okay. So here's the part that is most important now, because this has deployed the app service and this is the application URL from here. So I need to copy this URL, and this is what I'll be using for the JMeter testing. I'll just copy this. While the other application, the other pipeline is running, I'll just come back. Then I'll put this on this web app. Remember that this is the default web app, the app service when we open it. So if I reload this now, it should change, because our deployment for the fake REST API is successfully deployed the web app to app service here. So this should change. That's I'm reloading that. So once that changes, I'm going to use that for test. So this has changed. Then that means all the stages has completed successfully. The three stage. Now the last stage is for me to do the testing stage. So to do that, we have already done the postman regression test and the validation test from one of our section, and we have saved it. We have done the selenium test as well. Then we have the fake, the JMeter test. We can do that here. So for this particular video, what I did is that I used the user for the test. So I'll just come here, the user, and I'll use this. Let me try get user at first. If I click on try it, I'm going to get an URL. So this is the URL I'll be using for testing. I'll just copy this URL, go to my JMeter. But to avoid not spending too much time on the score, I'll just upload the one I have before, and I'll use that. So I'll go to my desktop, I'll go to just final demo, project starter, automated testing, JMeter. Okay, I remember before that, because this pipeline has successfully pushed, I need to pull because the code on my repo would have been updated to the one in my environment. So I need to pull this and git pull, so everything will be up to date. Yeah, and I'll do git push. So I need to get, okay, everything is up to date, which is fine. So I'll continue with my JMeter testing. So I'll go to desktop, I'll go to demo endurance.jmeter. That is what I want to use. Say open. So this is going to be saved as, so let me, the get user is going to use the same URL, I have here, Project3demo app service. That is what it's going to use. And then the delete user, I need to upload the CSV. That's the CSV that is being asked for us to upload from the rubric, the project rubric. I want to see this part so that I can up. So I'll click on this. I'll go to desktop again. Then Udacity and project starter, automated testing, JMeter, ID. So it's fine. The same thing for my get by ID. So ID, I want to believe is correct. Yeah. So for my results, the simple data writer, I need to upload results endurance.csv. Yeah, it's correct. I want to check the paths. Yeah, it's correct. So let me just save this file. Save text plan as, I want to save it as demo endurance as well. I want to confirm it is in my desktop. This project data, automated testing, JMeter, demo endurance, save, and I'll save right yes. So I'll first do this for one, then I'll save, then I'll run. Says I'll say rise existing, I'll say, so I have, let me go and check automated testing. So endurance.jmeter, nothing changed. That means I didn't select the right part. Mm, that means I didn't select the right part. So I need to go and select the right part because I have to see some change. Fine. Fine. Save test plan as I'll go to my desktop, Udacity, final demo, project starter, jmeter, this, then I'll say demo endurance.jmeter, yes. Oh, I said no at first, I'm supposed to say yes. So I'll clear this and I'll run. Yes. So let me check. This has been modified. So let me confirm. Okay. Okay, that has been modified. Then this also has been modified. So I have just three. Now I want to perform for the 20, I mean 30 users and then the 60 minutes. So let me save it first. Clear this tree and run. Overwrite existing. So while that is running, let me go to the HTML and delete what I have there before. HTML, delete. The same thing for stress. Okay, nothing is in stress. Jmeter, HTML, endurance, stress. Okay, so this is still running, and I'm going to notice an increase in this. It's still running. You can see the progress. It is still running. Once it's finished running, this is going to change. So this has finished running, and then we can see from here that this, now I have 3 lines before, now I have 91. Depending on the number of change you make, that's what you're going to see. So that has finished. The next thing is to generate the HTML report. So to generate the HTML report, I'll say tools, generate HTML reports. I prefer to select this user dots because this will direct me to the place by default. Then for my CSV, I'll go to my desktop where I have the project. I'll choose the CSV that I was using. That's results endurance.csv. Then for this, I'm going to choose the folder. Let me go and confirm. Let me go back to desktop. Either say project 3. Mm, project 3, automated testing. Okay. JMeter. Then I'll just click on endurance. I'll say open. Then I'm going to click on generate report. So this has been created. I can confirm that from here, HTML. So here I will just open the HTML, and this, you need to take this screenshot of this and share on your project. So the next thing to do now is to do the stress test as well. So for the stress test, I'll just do the same. I'll upload the stress test that I have performed the test earlier, and I'll just change one or two parameters. Projects, automated test. Okay, so I'll change the CSV first. Browse. This is on desktop. Project data, automated testing, jmeter. The ID is correct. The same thing for my get user by. We have already done this on the section. That's why I need to audit, so there'll be more time on video. Then the simple data writer is going to be these results. So I need to confirm final demo. Yes, it's correct. So I'll first perform the test for one users. So I'll first save as file, save test planners. Let me go back to desktop. This project automated testing JMeter. Just say okay, yes. Then I'll run the test, save and run, override. So let me go back to my, this has been modified likewise as this. So from here I can see that my result is just 3. So now I want to perform for the 60, the 30 users, 30 and then 60 seconds. I need to clear this, then I'll save, then I'll run, overwrite. This will increase with time, and then you're going to see the change here. You can see this as, there's nothing here, but after some time it will change. We'll have like 90, 91 lines of code. This is a successful run. I don't have any errors, so I need to check that, and you can see that there's an increase here as well, and this has been modified likewise this. So the next thing is to generate the HTML reports. I'll say generate reports, then I'll choose this first, then I'll choose the CSV, come to desktop, then I'll say Udascal Lab, project data, automated testing, JMeter, and then I'm going to choose the result stress CSV. Then I'm going to choose the stress. Let me confirm this is okay. That's project data, automated testing, JMeter, and then stress HTML. So I'm going to click on generate report. So this has been generated. I'll just close this, minimize this, and then I should see that this has also been verified. So now everything, I need to push this back to Git. So once I push this, this is going to trigger another event on my pipeline, which is going to run all this again. So I'll just check for the Git status. Git add all git commits -m, adding JMeter tests, then git push. Okay, so let me go back to my GitHub repo and see that not this Project 3 Elastic Lab. So this 26 seconds. So let me check the pipeline. Something would have triggered. A pipeline task would have been triggered. Yes. So this has been triggered. It's going to run the 3. So once this finishes, then I'm going to run the last code for test. I'll just pause this so this will finish and I'll run the last code for test. That deployment has finished, so I want to add the last one. So I'll just click on edit pipeline. I'll add the test deployment, which is going to be the last test. Okay, that's the test stage. Just copy and I'll come to the last line, deploy VM. I'll say enter. And remember that my JMeter is endurance, demo underscore endurance, and then that's the endurance. For the test two is demo underscore stress. Then I'll save this. I'll save, then I'll run. This is going to take another long time. I'll just pause this and come back again after a successful deployment. It's going to be successful. A successful deployment will look like this. This has finished running my integration test, the selenium test, and then the JMeter test. So now we're going to see is the regression test here, the validation tests as well, the selenium test, um, the selenium test, publish selenium is going to be logs selenium. I can check my logs from here. So to check your log is in your home DevOps, my agent work minus 1s logs, and this is going to be here, the selenium log. And the same thing, the JMeter test 2 has successfully deployed, and we can check some test runs here. Under, you come to other test runs, under runs you will see some outputs. Yeah, we have some outputs here. You're going to take a screenshot of this. When I click on this, I'm going to double click. I'll see the outcomes. Yeah, I have 3 outcomes, and depending on how much, then there's going to be an attachment where you're going to have the XML. So if I click on recent runs, this, I have 9 runs for this particular one, and then an attachment is added here. So I have the validation and the regression test. So that will be all for the pipeline. The next thing now is to do the log analytics and the alerts. So for the log analytics, from the Azure DevOps resource group that is being given to us, we have a log analytics inside of it. So I'll just click on this log analytics. I'll come to my agents management. I'll come to Linux agent, and I'll say log analytics instruction. I need to download this agent and install it on my VM. So I'll copy it from here. I'll go back to my VM. I think I have my VM here, and I'll drop this here. I'll click on enter. So this is going to install the log analytics on my VM. It's going to install the log analytics on my VM. Once that has finished, okay, it has installed OMS agent on my VM. So this log analytics is just a warning, a depreciation warning. There is no issue about that. So this will take some time for it to deploy. So the next thing now is for us to configure the new alert. To configure the new alert, I'll go to the resource group, the app service that was created, app service. Then under monitoring, I'll click on alerts. I'll click on create alert rules. Click create alert rules.